years. I've had a lot of good times, a lot of frustration at the same time. But really what I want to say to you guys is thanks for the support. We have had a lot of things we needed to change. All right, are you happy with the changes we're making? Yeah! No, thanks. Okay. Why do I hear that from all the good people?
Yeah, come talk to Keith later and yell at him personally.
Negative responses will receive no swag.
But if you want another drink ticket, you better be nice.
You're so handsome!
There you go. See? That man knows how to approach Keith. Right there.
More drink tickets, yes. So if you look back, all the things that we've done over the last couple of years, the biggest thing in the direction I gave the team was acting like a team, number one, but number two, coming together and looking at all the things that are necessary in order to make the game itself very solid, right? We've had a lot of things that were isolated. Even Starfighter got a lot of, was ignored for years. And I didn't want any of that to happen anymore, right? Anybody play Starfighter? Anybody do operations?
Yes!
I haven't got to yet. What about
PvP?
Yes!
I'm always surprised that the PvP crowd's the loudest.
That's it's unusual. It's not what you would think.
I wouldn't think they'd be aggressive or anything.
PvP, you guys, are you aggressive?
Did you just say 1v1 me? Okay, that's good. I don't know, I would be afraid to 1v1 Keith and SWTOR. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
How many command rank 300 characters do you have right now?
17.
Yeah.
I think I only have 13 of the characters through OSIS. All right, so
Only 13.
Only a mere
you have to
13.
get geared up, right? So you have to gear them up.
Wait, this is our only chance to make Keith feel bad. How many of y'all have more than 13 characters through OSIS? All right.
Take that, Keith.
What was your account names? I know how to take care of that. Okay. I have tools. Yeah. But if you think about all the things that we've this infrastructure we put in place, all the new game servers, all the we did server merges. We've changed the way the game interacts with you. We changed galactic command, right? Anybody like it now?
No!
Anybody like it now?
How many people don't hate it now?
That's a better question.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's true. Yeah. That's fair.
So how about if we threw all that away?
Don't get too far ahead of yourself, Keith. Don't get too far ahead of yourself.
Wait, Frank. I forgot.
We're going backwards still. We're going backwards.
Back, right. That's right. So we have a lot of things we've done this year that we have Charles and Eric actually walk you through. And then we're going to be talking about some things in the future. And I'll come back on stage and we'll talk about that. That sound like a plan? Yeah. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Keith. Give a round of applause for Keith, please.
See, now they're just going to tune out until Keith comes back.
That's right, yeah. And also,
I see what he did.
Yeah, he'll just come tell you secrets, so please don't tell him until we're done. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we're only going to spend a little bit more time looking backwards before we start looking forward. So, my clicker is not there. Oh, I went too far. There we go. So, everyone got real excited thinking you saw something you weren't supposed to. It didn't go that far. So, there was a lot of things that happened before OSIS. So, how many of you have played OSIS? Yeah? How many of you have not played OSIS? Yeah. So,
You should check it out. It's pretty cool.
yeah, so Charles, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the things that we did before we brought out OSIS, and one thing that kind of set the stage for that is, as Keith talked about, we really wanted to cover a lot of the ways that people played the game, as many of them as possible, and so if you looked, as we ended, I guess it was 2017, we were really focusing on operations. We did Gods from the Machine, which are some of the craziest bosses we've ever put in anything, and then we swung the pendulum the other way and really focused a lot on PvP, and that was kind of a lot of what we spent some of the time this year. So Charles, you want to talk a little bit about some of that?
Yeah, so we did focus on PvP maps. We put out the Mandalorian Arena. Do we have any Mandos in the crowd? All right. Vanden Hudball fans in the crowd?
Hudball haters in the crowd?
Oh, wait, Hudball fans, beat him, go!
That was cold. His name is Charles Boyd, if you want to find him.
1v1 me. We did the Rishi Stronghold, which was already a very awesome stronghold and became even more awesome because of everyone's feedback on the PTS, which is something else we've been focusing on a lot this year. Doing more PTS, getting more of your feedback early, implementing as much of it as we can. And one of the best and coolest parts about that stronghold to me is that it supports PvP in the stronghold. Different kinds. You can set up your own hutball match for the hutball lovers. You can not set up your own hutball match for the hutball haters. And you can do all sorts of other things in there too. Or you can get that poor little turtle killed and be a horrible monster.
Horrible person, I think is the title.
Horrible person.
How many horrible person title holders do we have?
That was a Matt Pusevich special.
That was.
I thank Matt for that.
Yep. And so, once we get past everything that came before OSIS, then
I forgot, also the storyline.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Flashpoint, first bullet, how did I miss that?
Yep.
We wrapped up the very last little bits of the storyline from the Knights of the Fallen Empire, Knights of the Eternal Throne, Traitor Arc, and all of that. It kind of came to a conclusion with Anathema Flashpoint, which paved the way for what came later.
Which is...
Yeah. How many Theron fans do we have? How many people killed Theron? Spoiler. You were very excited about. Stay on separate sides of the room. I don't want to deal with that.
There's a Theron standing right in front of me. I'm a little concerned about this situation right here. Fair enough.
Good.
All right.
Good. None of the Therons here betrayed any of you. Let's keep that in mind.
Please, no violence to Therons. We won't stand for it.
Only
in-game.
kind words.
Ask about
Let's go to something.
Keith,
Stop encouraging violence.
Oh man, Keith. I'm not going to repeat what Keith said. So then, last December, we launched Jedi Under Siege, which was really the kickoff to our next storyline.
I'm going to say the one thing that I was disappointed with in Jedi Under Siege is that I didn't receive any Steven Seagal memes. At all.
Oh.
Come on, y'all. Back me up. Hook me up later.
That's cold.
All right.
That's cold.
But other than that, yeah, Jedi Under Siege, start of a very new storyline. Getting back to the war between the Jedi and the Sith, the Republic and the Empire. Introduced a few new characters. We see their Tau Adair. We brought any Tau lovers? All right. We've got everyone's favorite Jedi Master ever, who had somehow not appeared in the game in 7 years, Master Nosteral. I can't pick favorites, but if I were to pick a favorite, it might be General Daerun and his love of tea. Any tea lovers? General Daerun? Yeah, all right. Also, not a new character, returning from the depths and pits of people's memories. Darth Malora, I think is present here in the crowd, somewhere back there.
Where's Darth Malora? Right there, back there.
So Darth Malora made it. It's canon now.
And then there's one other character, and that's a little spoilery, so if you don't want to be spoiled if you haven't played Jedi Under Siege.
Wait, there was one other before that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who was also present, Major Henry, Imperial Commando Extraordinaire.
There's a lot of Henry love in the crowd.
Yeah.
And then there's one more.
Then there was one more.
Then there's one more. Do you guys know who it is?
It was Keith.
It was Keith. The answer, of course,
Darth Malgus. Right here. I wish I had a penny every time someone had asked me when Malgus would come back.
That's right. And we always just had to be so coy of like, what? That's not what we would do.
What? People who fall off cliffs are always dead. Always.
100%. That's what I've seen in Star Wars historically.
We did some other stuff in that update too, though.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, there was massive changes to guilds. We got a lot of guilds. How many guilds are here together tonight? So we made a lot of guild improvements as well in 5.10. Like Keith said, we wanted to focus not just on content, but also the surrounding it to make sure that your quality of life in the game was better, which carries forward into some of the things we've been working on since then as well. So I'm being really cautious with my clicker, because I don't want to go too far. I don't want to scoop anything. Let's see, go forward. One. Bueller. There we go. So, Game Update 5.10.1, this was the first time we'd done a layer boss in a long time. It had been quite a long time. And this is where we also introduced a new tier of weapons for players to get as well. Gave you a new way to explore on OSIS. And we had a lot of ops players, right? Ops players? How many of you have cleared the Wretched Hive? Cool, okay. Next update. I'm going
Real cautious.
I'm trying to go
Get
cautious.
closer and closer to the
But
danger
there we
zone.
go. Yep. So 5.10.2, Heralds of Victory, came out Thursday. So if you're
Wait,
here,
like a couple days ago, Thursday?
yeah, as in a couple days. So we apologize if you've been in celebration the whole time and hadn't had a chance to play with it. That's our bad. That's on now. That's on us. Two really big systems that we did here. Guild Heraldry. This was the first time that we really wanted to let people show their own personal guild identity. You know, you can make the heraldry that you want to fly yourself to show off that you're a starfighter guild, or that you're a PvP guild, or a bacon guild. I saw
Or
a bacon guild.
a couch flying in space guild.
Couch flying in space guild. Yep.
That's an option.
And then, how many people have been frustrated since launch with our preview window? So, quite literally, our engineering team basically went, nah, and just rewrote the whole thing from scratch. It works! Yes, it works. That is correct. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff to it. You can preview animations of things, you can preview a whole lot of stuff that you were never able to do so before, and it's a whole lot cleaner. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, highly recommend it. So, I can see the hands going in the air already. What's coming next for Star Wars: The Old Republic, right? So, step one.
There's one more.
There's one more. Hold on. Let me get my clicker to work.
Bring back Revan!
Can I? Can I bring back Revan? Is that cool? I want to do some different. I want a Lady Revan, I agree.
So, game update 5.10.3, the Dantooine incursion. Do we have any Dantooine fans here? You guys excited to go to Dantooine? This is a big deal for us. Charles, you want to talk a little bit about what Dantooine actually is?
Yeah, so Dantooine is going to be another recurring event, like the Gree event, like the bounty hunting event. And this one's a little unique. It's a bit like the Gree event in that the area that it takes place in will be available even when the event isn't live, so different stuff will be happening there. I felt like it was really important to show a version of Dantooine that was actually peaceful, because I know that's something that people really think of and hold in their heart about Dantooine, is that it's this kind of peaceful place. So when the event's active, not so peaceful, a lot of crazy stuff going on. But when it is not active, you can go hang out, check out some cool farms. There's a few little missions to do along the side, especially for Imperial players who are still kind of being on the download there. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, a very cool planet. Everyone loves it.
And we definitely want all of you to get in and help us make sure it's as amazing as it can be. So look for it coming to the test server next week or so.
Yeah, real soon.
Yep, so look for more information on that later this week. So, click. Let's see.
But what else is coming?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So if there was something that you guys wanted to happen later in the year, what would that be?
All right. I was gonna do a whole bunch more HUD ball, but
Yeah, so you don't want a HUD ball inspired update of what you want?
some people maybe.
We should probably redo this presentation then. I think that's probably pretty rough. Interesting question. Talk to Charles about it.
Kira's here. There's a Kira.
There is a Kira here.
There you go. Yeah, look, I did it. She's there.
There, just like that. All right, we're not going to make you suffer anymore. Charles, what do we have coming later this year?
We have an expansion to the Star Wars: The Old Republic coming later this year.
Now, if you had to guess, do you think the name would end with, or start with, Knights of the? That's mixed reactions there. Oh, they're getting a little crazy.
We're just gonna move through all the classes.
Yeah, we'll just go one at a time. Okay. So you ready to learn what the name of the expansion? I assume you also want to know what's in the expansion, but just if you want to learn the name.
Let's start with a name.
Let's start with the name. Okay. Let's go. Give us something. You've been dragging this on for so long. Please just tell us what it is. What'd you say? What time is it?
It's rude to check my watch up here, man.
It is.
So yes,
Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Knights of the Onslaught. Onslaught. We really wanted to kind of show that this is different. This is a new thing. We're moving in a new direction, and there's some grave things happening.
So one of the things that we know you guys as players like to do is go, show me the back of the box features. what's coming in the expansion. And oh, that's right. I do have to tell, sorry, one funny story before I will stop dragging this on, I promise.
Keith's making us do it. It's his fault
this
this time.
is Keith's fault. And some of you may have noticed that all of us on the team have been sweating our asses off wearing hoodies, and it's because the back of the shirt has the logo on it. So as we were coming in and out of the room, we had to make sure that you couldn't see it. So, this is an Onslaught shirt. None of the other swag has Onslaught on it, but that does, which is why we've all been wearing hoodies and sweating all the time. What do you think of it? I didn't give you anything. You'll get the shirt, but you're welcome. You're welcome. Take it. Wow. Whoa. This is getting. I guess we did say this was going to be an adult event, but I didn't quite mean that kind of adult event.
Turn it down.
Not quite.
We got a lot to get through.
Yeah, we got a lot to get through. So let's start cruising through it. So first and foremost, the thing that you obviously want in a new expansion is a new storyline. Reveal the fact that that first bullet says new storyline.
So we're gonna show y'all what would be like the opening crawl kind of thing for that. So if you absolutely, positively want to know nothing at all, cover your eyes for a minute. I won't read it out loud.
Yeah.
But everyone else, check it out.
Yeah.
I really want to read it out loud.
You can read it, Charles. You got a good voice.
Nah, I promised I wouldn't. Do you want me to read it out loud? Reading it now, it's over. War consumes the galaxy, hungering for dominance. The ruthless Sith Empire fights to destroy their ancient enemies in the Galactic Republic. Assembling an overwhelming fleet of the Empire's most powerful warships, Darth Malgus sets out to obliterate a new and highly advanced Republic shipyard on the planet Corellia. Do you want to go back to Corellia? All right. You'll be fine this time, I promise.
I think you'll be
Wait until later, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But now, desperate to prevent this catastrophe.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you cut me off! It's bad, because I don't actually remember the rest of the storyline. Anyway, the Republic really wants us to stop that from happening.
Yeah. So do you want to give them just beyond the reading, do you want to give them kind of a brief idea of what they can expect to see in the storyline of Onslaught?
Yeah, so, as we started with the storyline in Osis, we wanted to get back to really focusing on that war between the Jedi and the Sith, the Republic and the Empire, really the core conflict of Star Wars The Old Republic, and really bring that back to the forefront, get players back to working alongside their old factions, maybe back to their old factions, we'll see. That would be kind of cool.
I think they said old-fashioned. It was like
Old-fashioned?
drinking?
It's a good drink, but only for adults.
Yep.
Let's see what it's, prominently featuring everyone's favorite Sith Lord, Darth Malgus, of course, taking an aggressive plan against the Republic to win the war early as best he can.
We've heard for a long time that you guys wanted to get back to the Empire versus Republic war. Is that a fair statement? I think it is an onslaught against each other, so I think that'll probably be a fair way to go through the expansion. All right, so let's see. What else we got?
I don't remember what's the next line.
Yeah, I don't either. Sorry, my clicker's not cooperating. Sometimes it takes one click, sometimes it takes 40, so I apologize with the pace. So,
I think I remember what it is.
Oh, I think I do too. So, if we were going to do new places to go, I think we'd want a pretty good mix of things.
Yeah.
Right?
Like we mentioned Corellia. So, who likes going back and seeing old places but in a new way? Especially one you really love, like Corellia, all right?
Yep.
What about a planet that you might have been to before in another game, but haven't gotten to see in the Old Republic yet? Especially if that other game was Knights of the something.
That seems like something we'd want to do. Sorry. Which I will show you if my clicker will go forward.
New planet, Onderon.
That's right.
Although, so, not new.
It's not correct, yeah. Just
you know it well.
It's a SWTOR.
You know it well from, of course, Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yeah.
You know it well from the Tales of the Jedi comics. And, of course, awesome, really memorable arc on the Clone Wars. Very cool.
Yep.
Birthplace of Saw Gerrera.
That's true.
That happened later. That happened after us, though, so don't look for him.
Yep. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to go forward.
Jakaro? Would it be cool if Jakaro was on Onderon?
There we go.
I'm not saying he is, but that would be pretty cool, though, right?
Now let's move forward.
Here's a little bit of concept art for Onderon.
Is there anything you can tell?
Yeah, so this being a grand palace. So for those who don't know much about Onderon, Onderon is an awesome planet. It has hold on, I'm gonna get this right. Laser gun wielding, beast riding barbarians. And it has scheming nobles, which might happen in this a place like this, Grand Palace. And of course, jungles teeming with deadly monsters who literally fly down from the moon. It's a hardcore place. Take that, Game of Thrones.
Can you guys either make this work better or manually progress it? Because this isn't doing, it's not working anymore. Yeah?
Not the crowd, but y'all do it.
Okay, yeah, next slide, next slide. We're gonna do this with my mouth, so this will make it move faster. So this is the, thank you. So that is, so as Charles already said, the palace. You go to the next slide.
Another little view, some conceptual stuff for the palace.
Yep, you go to the next slide. So this is one of my favorite pieces of concept art that the team did for the planet, because I think it highlights so much that it's that really cool
contrast.
Yeah, the contrast of the planet of what you see. You go to the next slide.
Little marketplace inside the city.
Next slide.
Beasts!
Next slide.
More beasts!
That's right. So as you say, you'll be able to expect a lot of crazy creatures all over the place on Onderon. Next slide. Are you guys excited to go to Onderon? All right, so if we're gonna have something from a different game, we gotta have something that we do on our own.
Yeah, something completely new. A place you've never been before, never seen before, never heard of before.
Next slide, please.
Let me introduce you to Mech Shaw.
Next slide.
Mech Shaw is a mined-out asteroid that has been turned into a galactic refueling station.
Next slide.
For the scum and villainy of the galaxy, ne'er-do-wells, smugglers, mercenaries, pirates, refugees.
Next slide.
Tradesmen, traders. It's basically a really cool, like, stacked-up harbor in space, just the stuff floating out over the stars. It's gonna be so cool. I can't wait till y'all see it.
Next slide.
You can find trouble in all the back alleys.
Next slide.
And some sweet boats flying through the air.
It's very smugglery, piratey.
This one is in fact named after the developer who suggested the core concept of it.
Next slide. All right, so
Any guesses what the third planet might be? From earlier, like 10 seconds ago?
Orcon?
That's a moon.
Duxon is a moon.
Duxon is a moon. Technically, Mech Shaw's an asteroid, and we called it a planet. so
Interesting
that's
guess.
all that
Interesting guess. I'm surprised no one. You're gonna
stuff. Y'all can do it.
Next slide.
Corellia.
So one of the things we really wanted to do was, we've heard for a long time that we have all these great planets that you explore in the Old Republic, but you never get to go back to them. So what if you did? What if you got to go back to Corellia? Next slide.
So this is not from the expansion. This is, in fact, many of you have noticed and called it out, and we appreciate it. We'll be doing some new versions of the planetary approach cinematics for all the core of the game planets, and this is a little snippet from the Corellia one.
Yep.
We're going to have a whole ton of those coming in.
510.3, yep. So there'll be a bunch of planet fly-ins that are reworked just like this to go to Corellia.
We'll have a lot more to show you about Corellia as we go forward through the year.
Next slide. All right, so this one's interesting.
All right, so that's story.
That's story.
Most of it.
But we probably need some group content.
I mean, a Flashpoint is group content.
A Flashpoint is group content.
Small group.
Maybe some-
Flashpoint lovers.
Maybe one step higher, so some larger group content.
What's crazier than a Flashpoint?
Operation. Okay, that's interesting. Any guesses where it might be? What's interesting is someone already guessed correctly. Can you hit the next slide?
Duxon.
Next slide, please.
Guess who's back? Circa Corporation.
Next slide.
So Duxon has even more and even crazier monsters than Onderon does, and Zerka Corporation seeing an opportunity for some profits and a chance to really make an even bigger mess than they've made in the past. Is going to take some of those monsters and make them even worse monsters and try to sell them, which might get out of hand, especially if some other guys show up who really love hunting things for points. Then we'll see where that goes. But that'll be your mess to clean up, sorry.
You can go to the next slide. So what is next?
What else?
I think I know which one this is.
Let's see.
I'm trying to remember. I might be wrong. This will be interesting. Next slide.
Anyone who wants to be a Nautilin? All right.
Next slide.
Just some work in progress, very early, but we'll have a lot more to show.
Yep. Next slide. There you go. And so I know one of the things you always want to know if there's going to is what kind of customization you have. Next slide. And next slide. Next slide. All right, and so one thing we want to point out about Nautilins, if you're familiar with our game, our species usually come as something that you can buy additionally. So we don't have the exact details, but we do know that around the launch, our goal is that you will get Nautilins included with the expansion if you come in when it launches. All right? So we'll have more details on that a little bit later, but Nautilins are going to be yours. All right, next slide. So,
Probably not a shocker.
yeah, I love the excitement of a new level cap. You can go to the next slide. It's pretty basic, but it's always something you want. We got 5 more levels coming, new abilities for each advanced class. So get ready to see a lot of new stuff. Yep. Next slide. Okay.
What's the last thing we're gonna do?
So we're at the big one, and this was gonna be a little bit interesting. It'll take a little bit for us to walk you through exactly what it's gonna be. And I think Keith kind of opened this up really well, which is itemization has been an interesting thing over the past couple years, right? Cotet launched, Galactic Command was not entirely loved. We spent a lot of time working to get that to place, but even since then, we've had a lot of really, really great lessons over the last 2 years about what we've done really and where we can learn and improve. And so, next slide. So we're introducing what we call the spoils of war. Next slide. So you guys can, as we talk through these, you guys can bring them up. So quite literally, everything you know about items in the Old Republic is going to change.
But it'll be good.
But it'll be
in your
good.
favor.
Here's what we want to make sure. Look at your character. We want to make sure that you have as much customization as possible. At the end of the day, here's what counts. You want to live in the Old Republic and play Star Wars exactly how you want to be. You want to be the Jedi that you want to be, the bounty hunter that you want to be. And our goal is that through the changes that we're making to items, you'll be able to get there. That's our goal. So, if you're familiar with our game, we have
Some set bonuses that we've had the same for a really long time.
Yep, the set bonuses haven't changed in a really long time. We have items that haven't really changed in a really long time.
And we tend to be a little stingy with them.
Yeah, does anyone feel like you don't get loot fast enough?
Yes!
I'm pretty confident that won't be the case anymore, but we'll see. And so, one of the things that helps that, and this is kind of a real gamey term, which is horizontal progression. And what that means is, when you get to endgame and you have your best gear, which will happen way faster than it ever has before, what it's about is that a Jedi, I can be I am a Arsenal merc. We have any Arsenal players in the house? Yeah? Let's say I play Arsenal, and Keith plays Arsenal merc, and Charles plays Arsenal merc. We want to make sure that all 3 of us can be completely different. Completely different in how we the way we accomplish that is by giving you items that are the same power level as each other, but do completely different things. So we'll talk more about how that works. You guys go to the next slide.
Hey, who likes this guy?
Our friend Darth Jadis is going to help us.
He's gonna be our little example for tonight.
Yep. So here's how things. If you're not familiar with how our gearing works right now, let's walk you through it. So if you play, let's say, a lightning stork, you're Darth Jadis. You like to shoot lightning for your fingertips. You get 1 shot, 1 set. That set makes you better as a lightning stork, and it has pretty much the same stats on it. You're working for the same thing every time. And the only real way to progress is to get better. To get better versions of the thing. It keeps going vertical. My mic is cutting out. Here, let me steal.
You want to try mine?
Check. Oh, there we go. Wow, this is way louder. This is good. So progression only goes up. It's straight vertical, and you don't really get a lot of customization in the ability to, again, tailor the way you want to be. Do you want to be harder to kill? Do you want to do more damage? There isn't a ton of customization in the way that works right now. So we wanted to really improve on that. You go to the next slide.
Oh, yeah, do y'all like moving stuff between legacies?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, yeah. How many of you religiously move all of your gear around between legacies? So for a long time, We haven't always supported that, really. We knew it was there, and we knew it was something that a lot of players did, but it wasn't really easy. It's kind of a pain, right? You have to pull the mods out, put them in a new piece of gear, mail them to yourself, move them to your bank, and then pull them out, and I'm only explaining half of the process, and that doesn't sound fun. So we want to fix that, and we want to make that a lot easier, and actually build it into the system so that you moving gear around your legacy is the way it's supposed to work. Does that sound good? Yes! Next slide. So here is what a lightning sorcerer will look like in Onslaught. So if you're a lightning sorcerer, not only will you have the sets you're used to, you'll have new sets. And those new sets may do all kinds of crazy things. So not only will you have sorcerer sets, you'll also have inquisitor sets. And you'll also have generic sets. What if you said, and this is a hypothetical example, but let's say all you do is you jump in game, you're harvesting, and you're crafting. What if there was a set bonus that made you better at that? That's the thing you wanted to do. Now that will theoretically be possible. Because we want to give you as many options as possible to play exactly how you want to every game. One of the things that existed a long time ago was the ability to mix and match sets, right? Small set bonuses, large set bonuses, some hybridization, if you were. We want to try to support that again as well. We know that people liked it back in the day, and so we want to give you the ability to do it again. Next slide. All right. Charles, do you want to talk about tactical items?
Yes. So tactical items are an entirely new item slot. And this is designed to change the way you play your class in a significant way.
Yes.
See the slide? You can do the next one. Yeah. So even more ability customization. Again, these will vary between being class and discipline. And these can have the potential to completely change your rotation, to give you a completely different way of playing the class that you know and love so well.
Yeah, let me give you two fictional examples that I've just made up right now.
These are totally made up, so
yeah, I just made them up. So let's say, how many lightning sorcerers we got in the house? Lightning, you like to shoot lightning? So let's say you had a tactical item that made your chain lightning. So if those that don't know, when you cast chain lightning, it hits a target and then bounces to a bunch of other targets. Let's say you had two tactical items. One of them means chain lightning doesn't bounce at all anymore. It just does way more damage to the first target. So now it's just a big, beefy, single target attack. Or, let's say you go, I want to murder entire rooms of things at a time. Now it jumps to twice as many targets and does double damage to them. So you can build an AoE build for your sorcerer with chain lightning, or you can build single target. That's the kind of customization we want to try to achieve. And again, I completely made up examples I just made up, but that's what we're trying to do, where you can take the abilities that you love and make builds around them. Does this sound good? All right. So let's recap what we just said, because it's